Thank you, Bonnie, Jerry, Marilyn, Eric, and Roberta for coming into this place from your place and connecting us together. I am going to share some words from Marilyn. Thank you, Marilyn Velkerding, for sending me an email about how you've been practicing last week's spiritual practice. And so I wanted to share it with you. It's always my intention that as I share these, they become an opportunity for you to hear how others within our community are taking these ideas and living them so that you can be inspired to do the same. So here's what Marilyn said about last week's practice. I love the question, where am I ready for change in my life? I have a range of ease about changes. Some are easy, some are difficult. The more difficult changes remind me that I am in my human form. I sometimes have to be ready for change. I may be unhappy, even miserable over time, struggling. I reach out to the larger divine one and ask for help. But I don't know when help will come, so I continue possibly to make the same mistakes. Then improve a bit. Then perhaps a big learning curve moment occurs. Of course, sometimes I become ready for change without pain. My area of desired change is about aligning with Source and creating a loving, happy life for myself. Having God as my partner, my focus on being loving to others. Am I ready to be love expressing to myself and others? Am I ready to accept that sometimes I am going to be off track and be mad with others? Am I ready to invite God's grace to be with me when I'm having a difficult day? I was deeply into writing a long email to a friend, being careful with my words. When my husband needed me to get my driver's license number right away for the tax prep work he was doing, I just snapped. I was doing something important, and then I let him know, with some sarcasm, what I thought about his putting off the taxes. Slam on the brakes. Crabby does not feel good. My love meter needle moved to, what are you doing? What is he doing for me? Getting our taxes done, and that's a good thing. I also realized I was taking the email way too seriously. Her body already knows how to heal itself. All I need to do is bless her. I deleted 3 paragraphs and sent a short message, feeling God had said, relax, I've got her, Marilyn. My husband's needs expressed first resulted in me being a victim, angry. Why are you interrupting me? But I chose to return to being loving and seeing 2 blessings in the moment. I chose to look at life from a new vantage point in that moment. I did apologize to him and thanked him for doing the taxes. I thank God for being alive in me and helping me become a victor. I don't like the feeling of being a victim. I like being loving and kind. And I thank you for our lessons. I am eager to hear the next reading. So thank you, Marilyn Velkerding, for that beautiful email about how you are putting into practice our spiritual practice from last week, which was about the gift of the accident. So let me begin by saying that we are doing a series on a book by Steve Goodyear called Lessons of the Turtle. And we've been engaging in the story of that turtle who finds himself slipping on a rock and ending up upside down on his back, wondering what happened and afraid that he's going to die. And then he meets up, he hears a new friend, the owl. The owl comes to him and encourages him to open his eyes, to look around, and to discover the gift of the accident. Last week, that was our conversation, the gift of the accident, in which the turtle learned that the gift of the accident is to understand that we have the power to choose to move from victim to victor. And that's exactly what Marilyn did. So thank you, Marilyn, for that. So this week we're moving on to our story. And our story this week is about the gift of the tree. And so as we've been doing, I'm going to return to our book to share the story of our turtle who's been knocked off center and has found himself wrong side up, trying to figure out how to right himself. By this time, the turtle was caught up in the new sights from his awkward position by the stream that he no longer felt as anxious. In fact, he began to enjoy his new perspective, as long as he didn't let himself think about his future. "What are those pointed green spires rising almost to the sky?" he asked. "I've never seen anything like them." "Those," said Owl, "are trees. Pine, spruce, and fir trees mostly." "Trees? Those are not trees. I've seen trees before. I see them every day. Trees are brown obstacles covered with bark. Trees are always in the way." "You are now viewing the rest of the tree," smiled Owl. "You have only seen the trunk as you creep along, but the branches and needles are really the best part." "I had no idea trees could be so magnificent," said Turtle. "There is a gift of the tree too," Owl explained, "and like the others, it comes in the form of a lesson. Are you ready for it?" "I think so," said Turtle. "I understand that the gift of the accident is a lesson, the lesson of choice. What is the gift of the tree?" "The tree is strong and proud. It stands tall. But not all trees are so majestic as those you now see. Some are so small you could walk over them. Some are still seeds. You may have eaten the seeds of trees yourself. At the time, you did not know what you were eating, a tree, just the seed of a tree. But within the seed is the tree. If the seed only knew what it would someday become, it would be amazed. To know what you can become is a wonderful thing, and to know you will grow into a tall and mighty tree is a thing of honor. The tree is esteemed for another reason too," continued Owl. "It has a place all its own in the universe. The tree is rooted in a particular place that rightly belongs to it as long as it stands. The tree knows it has a special place on earth all its own. Those who know they have a special place, a place of honor in the universe, are most fortunate. So the gift of the tree is this. It is the lesson of honor," said Owl. "A creature honors itself by realizing its potential. A creature honors itself by discovering its own place, its unique purpose in the universe. The lesson of the tree is to learn to honor oneself by discovering one's potential, one's passion, and one's purpose. The gift of the tree is the lesson of honor. We honor ourselves by discovering our potential, our passion, and our purpose." From Steve Goodyear's Lessons of the Turtle. And just let me share a couple of more things that Steve talks about within this chapter. Come to know yourself. It helps to take time to come to know our patterns, our behaviors, our attitudes, our desires, our strengths, and our motivations. Come to know your potential. Ideas that stay in the head are safe. They remain untested, unlived. There is no power in an untested idea. Until it moves into action, it is ineffective. Come to know your passion. Come to know your purpose. Identify your aim in life. What do you stand for? And these are all quotes from this particular chapter of Lessons of the Turtle by Steve Goodyear. So as you can see, we are here today outside in our woods with the trees in the background. I really feel blessed to live amongst these trees, and they're always there as my reminder. So Steve has brought up some of the important lessons of a tree, starting with the idea of a seed. So the seed that falls from these trees, and we are constantly cleaning them up throughout the summer because they fall at all different times and end up all over our deck here. But those seeds, if they land in the appropriate spot in the ground and are given water and nurturance, will eventually grow into the magnificent trees like those you see behind me. In fact, according to our neighbor, these woods are only about 40 years old, so they haven't even been here on Earth all that long. So I think about that seed of the tree when I pick up an acorn, or I pick up a walnut, or I pick up or eat an apple and find that little seed inside. Zoe and I have talked about how that little seed can grow into a whole apple tree that will give all kinds of more apples. The seed itself contains the potential for that tree. I think back to my favorite reading from James Dillett Freeman that talks about, when is a rose, when it is a seed just in the ground, when it sprouts out of the ground, when it is the bud waiting to burst forth, when it is the full-blown rose, when it is dying. When is the rose, and when is the tree, the tree? Is it a tree when it is that little seed? Is it when it just pops out of the ground as a small seedling? Is it when it becomes that magnificent oak? A tree is a tree, and it begins in that seed, and it always contains the potential to be that tree. So what does that mean for you and I? You and I have that seed of the divine within us. This is our true nature. This is what we are growing into. This is our truth. Like that seed that will become the oak tree, the seed of the Christ within us as it is growing, nurtured, allowed to develop, to get strong, to rise up, becomes that Christ in expression as you and as I, unique, individual, here to shine our light on earth. We are each beginning as that seed idea in the mind of God. And each of us, like a tree, has the potential to grow fully into that Christ if we simply accept that this is who we are. Now, a tree, of course, doesn't go through the conscious process of accepting. It just plants itself into the earth somewhere and starts setting down roots. And then it grows up from that place and it stays in that same place for its entire life. Now, I know some of you are tired of being in place during this COVID crisis, and you're longing to be free. Imagine a tree that is rooted in the same spot for a lifetime. But there, in that spot, it becomes fully what it is. As those roots go down, it becomes strong. So that when we've had storms here, we've watched these trees swaying. You think they're going to fall over, and sometimes they do. But oftentimes they don't, because they're deeply rooted into the ground. And so no matter what is happening here, they're centered, they're strong, their roots are deep. And just like these trees, we are invited to put deep roots into those spiritual practices that we have. The practices of prayer, of meditation, those things that ground us and center us so that we remember that seed potential that is within us and can nurture that and grow strong within it so that when life comes along and we are met with whatever the current challenge is of this day, we too are able to be strong, grounded, even while life appears to be moving us off center. Here, in this place, we can simply choose to be who we are in truth. The trees don't take classes and listen to podcasts and take workshops and retreats. They don't go on retreat to try to figure out how to be a better tree. They just become what they are, a tree. And you and I have that same potential to just, wherever we find ourselves grounded here in this moment, we have the potential to just be who we are. We don't have to add anything into it. We don't have to learn something new. We don't have to try harder. We just have to be what we are, just as the trees behind me are simply being the tree. The gift of the tree is ours to remember that whoever we are, that seed idea is already within us. And all we have to do is release it, let it out, find our purpose and our passion and live into that. What is your purpose? Do you understand what you are here to be? Unity teaches that we are, each and every one of us, a unique and individualized expression of the divine. There are no two people alike. The universe needs you because there is no other you here in the universe. You are the only one here expressing as you, and you have something unique and individual to share. I love that in this book, Steve gives a little story about a city bus driver, and this city bus driver's passion is to sing. he hasn't had an opportunity to become a professional singer. And so some of us would say, well, I didn't get that opportunity, so I guess I can't live into my purpose and passion of singing. But that's not what this bus driver did. He took his purpose and his passion to sing and bring joy to the world through his singing and decided he would do that wherever he was planted. And he was planted driving a bus through the city day after day. And so he took then and began to sing on all his bus routes. In fact, people would say to another bus that came along, nah, I'm waiting. And they would wait for that particular bus because they loved riding the bus with the bus driver who sang through the route. And the bus driver who sang through the route wasn't dependent on some specific vision of what that meant to be a singer. He just took where he was planted and sang. Sometimes I think we get a little bit too narrow in our definition of what it is to live into our purpose. If your purpose is so small that right now, for example, if you're not working the way that you typically work, or if you're not able to get out and do the things that you normally do, and so as a result you're feeling like you can't live into your purpose and passion, I am inviting you to expand your vision of what your purpose and passion is, because no matter where you're planted in any given moment, you can live into that purpose and passion. What is your purpose in life? Where are your passions? As I think about my purpose, it's changed through the years. My mission has changed as I've changed and evolved. And as I was preparing for this message, I asked myself again that question, what is my mission in life? What is my purpose right now where I'm planted today? And my purpose is to support a growing consciousness of love within myself and within everyone I meet, so that together we can create a world that works for all. I can live into that mission no matter where I'm planted, whether I find myself at the grocery store, whether I find myself here at home, whether I find myself at Unity Spiritual Center Westlake. It doesn't matter. I can live into that passion because I can simply choose to be love here now in any moment, no matter what I'm doing. And in that, to encourage everyone else to know that they too are love. And like Marilyn, sometimes I get it right, and sometimes I have to choose again and recommit to that passion. Whatever it is for you and for I, we need to find it. We need to discover it. We need to live into it. That is the message of the tree. To honor yourself for who you are, to recognize you've got the divine within you, and to allow that divinity to express wherever you find yourself. We have the potential of the Christ within, just like each seed of the tree has the potential to become that tree. We also know that lots of seeds don't grow. We continue to blow the seeds off of our deck here, and thank goodness they don't all become trees, or I don't know what these woods would look like. And so too, while that seed of the divine has been planted within us, not everybody wakes up to that divine nature that is within. Not everybody wakes up to that seed idea and nurtures it and allows it to grow. But that's what we're called to do. The gift of the tree reminds us to know who we are and to live into that so that the potential that we have can grow fully into that mighty oak, that beautiful apple tree, that blue spruce, whatever it may be, whoever you are, to show up and claim and know your truth. The purpose of the tree, the gift of the tree, is to know your worth, to know your value, and to know that you have something to share with the world. And so, like everything else, we get to practice it. You know, Unity's fifth principle is it's not enough to know the truth. We have to live into the truth that we know. So we have to take the time and discover what is my purpose, what is my passion, and then choose to consciously live into it. If you already know what that is, good for you. Continue to live that. But I find so many people are unclear about what it is that they are here to do, what it is that is their purpose. So first, allow your purpose to be big enough that no matter where you find yourself planted, you are able to fulfill that purpose. And then let's look at how we're going to practice that this week. So this week, Steve and myself are inviting you to make a list. Make a list of your personality traits and skills. Who are you as a person? For myself, I love to teach. Somewhere I discovered I have a gift of speaking. I always have had a passion for the divine, for understanding more and more about God. And so I took those ideas and created this purpose, this mission in my life, to be love, to encourage everyone else to be love, so that we can create a world that works for all. So start with listing what are your traits and your skills. What do you most enjoy doing? So from those, make a note. Which ones of those hold a special place for you, your traits and your skills? And then think about those in relationship to what your purpose is in life. Take some time this week to contemplate those ideas. How do I see myself living into and experience those traits and those skills that I know that I have that are uniquely me? And as you think about those, consider this week, how could I imagine my purpose showing up within those traits and those skills so that I can take this seed idea of the Christ within me and live fully into it, honoring myself as that divine expression of God, nurturing it, supporting it, and allowing myself to grow into that mighty Christ that I am. No small task. And I'm sure many of you will be spending some time this week thinking about this, and I would love to hear from you again. So while we are not gathering together physically, we have the opportunity to connect with our email. So I'm asking you to please send me an email, revjoanne@unityspiritualcenter.com, and let me know how you are putting this into practice. What's your mission statement? Let me hear it. Mine, I'll share it again, to support a growing consciousness of love within myself and others as we create a world that works for all. Email me yours. I want to share them next week so that we can inspire one another to honor ourselves through this lesson